How you guys doing? It's Chuck Burns from Chuck Burns for USA. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me today because I can't give it back to you, so I appreciate every second that you give me. This is a real quick one. I just want to talk about how a lot of Christians, they want to legislate. They want to talk about like how homosexuality is bad, and there's this whole homosexuality thing that we're pitted against them. I think we've done this to ourselves in a fairly high degree. But I think that the gays and the LGBT community have a little bit of blame to take, but not as much as we do. I'm gonna be honest. And a lot of people are probably going right now, "Oh, this guy, you're not a Christian or anything like that." I'm a Christian, believe you me. I'll explain it to you in a second. But years ago, when this whole thing about equal rights for a gay couple, how giving them benefits that the straight couples have, all came to be, we messed up pretty big time. We messed up pretty big time in this way. In the way is that we, how can I say this? We fought really hard against them. We didn't want to give them the rights. We didn't want to go, not just we didn't let them call it marriage. We didn't want them just not call it that. We didn't want to let them call it that. But we fought them. You can't have those rights. They're only for a man and a woman. Now, the thing about freedom in our Constitution is that freedom means you, to a degree, have the freedom to be wrong. It's like you don't have to all have to agree with each other. As long as the Constitution is not being violated, I cannot, and you're not impressing your beliefs upon me in a way where you're forcing, you're taking action. You're not, you're basically you're as long as you're in the non-violation rule, you're not coming to my space and pushing your stuff on me. I can't tell you I can't tell you to stop. I can't tell you to do. But you're not, because you're not. But I have no right to, because you're not coming in here and you're not bringing that in front of my family or choices that I don't agree with. So like my family can live its life and you can live your life and we're all happy, right? So I'm gonna get a little sidetracked in the beginning of this right there, but the whole point is that we can have gays and lesbians that are Republicans. It's totally it's okay. They can believe in freedom, the right to own a gun, all this stuff, and we can give them the rights that a couple should have, because they're human beings after all. They want to go love their dude, go love their chick. Hey, it's not for me, not my thing. But if that's what you want, man, it makes you happy, to go for it. I have a friend, a guy I grew up with, or I didn't grow up with. I met him later on in life, but I spent a lot of time with him as a friend before he ended up coming out of the closet. And, God bless him. He's proved his friendship to me in many ways. And certain things I even owe this guy an apology for. Nothing because I ever was mean to him, but just some things didn't work out. As our friendship goes, and it was nothing to do with him actually being gay. Nothing to do with that at all. But he's a great guy, and he ended up coming out of the closet, like I said. And he's an awesome dude. And I think he's a pretty fiscally responsible guy. I would like to think he'd be a conservative, except there's this whole misconception that because you're in the LGBT community, you have to be a Democrat. I think that's wrong. I think that's I think that's silly. It's like the only thing that makes that happen is because Republicans don't want to give them their rights. They don't want to say, you guys don't have the right. If one of you gets hurt because you're not family, because you can't legally be married, or can't take each other's name or have the benefits of that, or being married, they can't go see their boyfriend or girlfriend in the hospital because they're not. The records don't allow them to be on this together. So because of that, they can't go visit somebody that they love that's hurt in the hospital. That's not right. It's not right at all. I don't agree with what they do, but I'm never going to be mean to him. I'd hire one if he was a good worker. I've never met one in construction that wanted to work for me, but I would, if I met a great carpenter who was gay and he could do his job well and just as good and fast as anybody else, I would say, hey, dude, you're hired. In a heartbeat. Not even hesitate. I'm about making money. It's a business, right? So if he can make me money and work hard and do good quality work for my customers, why wouldn't I hire him? I don't care that he does what he does when he gets home. It's not my business. I don't want it to be my business, and frankly, if you don't make it my business, you gonna work for me, make money, get a raise every year, and be happy about it. Awesome, right? It's America. But see, Republicans though, we have a very faith-based background. A lot of us do, and I do. We want to impose that on people. But that's the problem. See, when you impose it on people, you're pushing your religion onto them and depriving them of rights as human beings they deserved in doing so. Now, I said the LGBT community had a little bit of blame in this. I think you are to blame in this regard, that you want our term marriage so bad. I think if you look at it, you can say that, well, Christians, they really want this term marriage. It does mean a lot to us. I think it's a very traditional term. For all these arguments, these people, the young Turks on YouTube talking about, marriage used to be defined as, a woman needed to pay dowry and stuff, basically using, some really old backwards cultures to like kind of like say, well, that's what marriage used to be, and it's what it's changed before. It's like, come on, look at the world today, guys, and for the past several hundred years, a minimum, if not thousand, okay. Marriage is defined between a man and a woman. The man asks for the woman's hand, and she consents. So yeah, some third world backwards countries, the father picks and some crazy shit like that. But that's not the modern world, so don't use it as such. An example. Either way. So I mean, I think that the gay community maybe should have not tried to take the term marriage once they saw us clinging to it, like we cling to our guns and Bibles so tightly. If they saw us clinging to it, then what they should have done, they should have said, you know what? What if we call it something else? We just kind of have the rights, but I don't want to take from something from you that you find so meaningful and powerful. I mean, I can tell that it's all those things to you. If they did demonstrate that kind of level of understanding right off the bat, of like how we felt about it, the LGBT community, I think more people on the right would have been receptive to giving you guys your rights. And but at the same time, though, I think that at the same time that might not happen because a lot of the right's bigoted. In a lot of ways, they think that they can impose their will on people and deny them freedom because they don't agree, and that's wrong. It's very, very wrong. And it's I have some similar views on abortion. I mean, but here's the deal: it's like if you're a Christian, think about it like this: only God can judge people. You're judging people. You're taking God's place. You are not God. Okay, back up. All right, I'm on your team, and I'm telling you this. Okay. Secondly, think like this: if you ever want a chance, let's say you want to convert this homosexual, and they talk about in those terms like that. So they're so like kind of like make them sound so old-fashioned. They say it's homosexual right here. It's like, man, I want to proselytize to him and convert him. It's like, but hold on, he's not going to listen to you at this point in time in his life. That's obvious. So you know what you should do? You should just be nice to him. Let him have the rights a human being should have. And you know what? If someday down the road you have a man who's chosen to have been gay, or has been not chosen, let's say for whatever reason he's been gay earlier on in his life, and he's wondering why his relationships with other men aren't working out, and maybe he's like, wondering, did I make the right decision being gay? And it's like, if you really want a chance to preach to him, someday, have it, when he's ready, or when he's looking for something else besides what he had because he's unhappy, he might listen to you. But if you've been the Christian that his whole life as a gay man, he remembers repressing him, depriving him of his rights, the guy that he loved dying in the hospital, and he couldn't go see him because you couldn't let him have the same benefits as a married couple, even though he's a human being, he's not going to listen to a word you have to say, and you're never going to win him over, and you're just going to be the people who stepped on his neck his whole entire life. Whereas if you're the people that were nice to him, even though he knew you disagreed, and you were just compassionate, and you led by example. Christians, you want to try to legislate your morality on the people? Know how we should lead? By example. Show them what God gives you through a good life, because God rewards us in a good life. And if they will see that, they will see it. They will see, think how happy they are. Look at what they have. Da, da, da. And they won't ask, but the thought will linger, maybe. And you're getting out there and you're watching this going, oh, he's so wrong. It's like, I'm not trying to offend you, dude. I'm trying to make the other side understand, maybe, that people aren't receptive to anything you have to say when you're seen as the oppressor. When you're seen as the person who has their whole life been taking what they want and putting it constantly just out of reach. And if you're not that person, someday there may be a chance where we all get to listen to each other and have a good discourse, and some people might be won over, and and things might change a little bit, and who knows what. But though, you can't deprive people of freedom because you're a religiously held belief. And I agree with those religiously held beliefs that most of you that I'm talking about. I don't think it's right, but I would never dare treat another human being poorly because of it. At the same time, though, the gay community, maybe I know it's hard to back down because something means so much to you. But when you find Christians like that, you kind of got to step back and say, you know what, this is really important to them. What if I let them have it? I wonder how they'd act, and just back up, say, you know what, we'll take another term. We'll invent something. We'll get together as a group. The leaders of our group of the LGBT community will make a decision about what we want to call it. We're gonna have two different terms, one for men, one for women. Who knows? Whatever they want to do, but you can't deprive them of their basic rights. When you do that, you block them out forever, and you block out any chance of ever proselytizing to them, because they're never going to want to ever listen to you again if you're the person who's always had your foot on their neck. Like I said, I don't agree with what they do, But I will never treat them bad for it, and I will never deride them for it, and I will never, ever, ever, ever justify or help anybody justify the right to take those rights from them. Because there must be a freedom of religion, which is what the Constitution says, Declaration of Independence. We have freedom from it because of it, but not freedom from it like we can rip nativity scenes off corners and stuff like that. That's too far. Like this Mikey Weinstein guy, but that's another issue for another day. But we have freedom of religion and freedom of not having religion. And you can't force your beliefs on other people. That's, they're never going to listen to you. Thanks a lot for listening, guys. This is Chuck Burns for Chuck Burns 4 USA. If you're on Twitter, tweet I no longer consent. Nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but I no longer consent, because the government only governs you with your consent. That's in the Declaration of Independence. And if you don't like the way things are going, I guess you don't have your consent anymore, do they? So Twitter that. Do it with a small lowercase, it's a second and fourth word, so that way the side of the N and the uppercase I don't get lost together, because it kind of looks funky when you do that. Kind of miss the I. And might hashtag it the right way, and then it doesn't show up on Twitter as cool or high up in the rankings. So again, I no longer consent, and see you later.